Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be testing out some new goodies from Rare Beauty. We've got lip, we've got blush, we've got eyeshadow, we've got the works. We're going to be trying out the whole Stay Vulnerable collection. I have the shade Nearly Neutral, so we're going to be using all of those today. These products were sent to me, but this is not sponsored. So we're going to do a full tutorial demo and see how we like them. So if that's something you're into, make sure to keep on watching. I do upload every other day, and that'll be the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. So if you want to jump into the Stay Vulnerable collection from Rare Beauty by Selena Gomez, stay tuned. Alright, so I know this is working backwards, but everything is already done except for the products we're going to be trying today, which, as I said in the intro, are going to be from the Stay Vulnerable collection from Rare Beauty. This is a new launch from Selena Gomez's makeup brand. All that was in the intro, so we're not going to jump into that too much. Normally I would do lips last, but because my lips look crusty as hell and I did already line them, I'm going to jump into lip first. So this is the Stay Vulnerable Glossy Lip Balm, a nourishing, luxurious, hydrating lip gloss that delivers high shine color with the cushiony feel of a balm. This is in the shade Nearly Neutral. So right off the bat, the packaging is really cute. I like that it's not your traditional single shaped lip gloss. It has the flat side so it doesn't roll, but I hate how square lip glosses look, so I love that it's rounded on one side. Now the shade does look a little darker than my natural lip color, but again, I doubt it's going to be this opaque right out of the jar, tube, whatever. So we're going to try this right on. All right, so exactly as I thought, it is not nearly that dark on the lips, but it is high color. I'm liking that color. It's like a soft nude. It definitely feels like a balm, like it is quite hydrating, but like the color's there, it's shiny, and it's not sticky, which I like. I'm going to give it a second to dry down and then see how it looks when I add a little bit more, just to see if we can build up the opacity a tiny bit. Okay, now that that has dried down, still not sticky, but let's try a tiny second layer to see the opacity. So it did add a tiny bit more shine and a little bit more color, but I don't think it was necessary. So all in all, I think I really like that so far. Now I'm looking a little pale, so let's jump into the blush. This is the Stay Vulnerable Melting Blush. This breakthrough formula delivers a weightless wash of soft focus color that melts upon contact for a second skin finish. This is also in the shade Nearly Neutral. I have the same shade in all three products. Now I'm going to pull up their website to see how they recommend putting this on. Okay, so on their site it says to use your fingertips or a dense brush. So I'm going to go in with a brush because I do prefer more of a densely packed brush personally. So we're going to use the E4 from Morphe today. So we're just going to pick up a little bit on the tip of the blush brush, and we're going to pat it over the cheeks. Now it does say that you can buff this in. It also says that it is like mistake proof. So we'll see if I can mess this up. Okay, so right away, it's definitely applying more like a powder than it is a cream. So I started like patting it on and stippling it on like I would a cream, but when I started with the small circular motions, it definitely went on much smoother. You can see from this side to this side how that flush of color has already been noticeable, but I'm definitely going to build it up a little bit more because more is more. Yeah, that's beautiful. Now, because of my face shape being more of an oval, I do like to take it up towards the temples because that's just going to make the face look less round. But if you find that you have a different face shape, I will end up doing a whole video on blush on different face shapes in the incoming near future. So we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. And because they do say you can basically do it however you want, I'm going to take the sponge and just press it into the skin to ensure that it has that perfectly blended look. That's beautiful. You guys know in the past I have been notoriously critical of any cream blushes, but this one looks really pretty. I have been liking cream blush a lot more lately, so I'm not mad at it. It also has a little bit of a glow on the cheeks. I'm still going to probably put a little bit of highlight on as well, but I really don't think it needs too much of that. And lastly, we're going to be trying out the Stay Vulnerable Liquid Eyeshadow. This is also the shade Nearly Neutral. We're going very monochromatic today. A waterproof liquid to powder eyeshadow that delivers effortless blending and smooth crease-resistant color. I'm going to also check the website to see how they recommend applying this, because I would typically apply it with the applicator and then pat it in with a brush, but you never know. Sometimes they do say fingers or bust. So, how to use: apply directly onto the base of your lid and blend out using your finger or an all-over eyeshadow brush, which is a soft focus dome-topped brush. I am going to use a brush because I do have a brush in that shape. This is the Delium Tools 776, which is very similar. Apply it at the base and then basically blend up. For a soft wash of color, start by applying one dot using the applicator, then build as desired. For instant payoff, use the flat edge of the applicator to sweep on color. Wear each shade alone, or you can layer. For extra dimension, top your look with your favorite shimmering shadow. We're probably going to do that today because you know I like a little bit of glow. So I'm going to grab my mirror, and I'm going to start by applying a tiny bit at the base, and I will blend it up. And then with the brush, wow, that's really pretty. So you see how it's more intense at the base of the eye? And I have a decent amount on the brush. It definitely blended, so it doesn't just look like a lot of liquid shadows which kind of go on and stay where you put them. I don't love that. I'm going to use the other side of this brush with no additional product and just see how this works, buffing a little bit into the lower lash. So that is a super pretty, like, barely there shadow look. That is nice. I'm going to go do the exact same thing on this eye, throw on some mascara and a tiny bit of brown liner in the waterline, and I'll be right back to pop on a little bit of a highlight just to tie it all together. All right, we are back, and the last thing I'm going to do is just add a tiny bit of highlight. So I'm going to grab the same highlighter I put on the cheeks and a tiny little detail brush. All right, I'm going to grab a tiny detail brush and that same highlighter, and I'm just going to brighten the inner corner a tiny bit, just because this will make the eyes look a little bit more open. And then with that same brush, I'm just going to gently take a tiny bit of that shimmer under the innermost portion of the lid ever so slightly, just because that will make it look a little bit brighter. I am okay with a monochromatic look, which is why I'm taking a highlighter that matches it. But I don't love when there's no depth, so I would personally always add just that tiny bit of highlight just to brighten everything up. And now that we've tried it all out, let's go over some final thoughts. So first, the lip. I think it's beautiful. Still not sticky. My lips do feel very hydrated. You can see on the inside there's a little bit of peeling and flaking, but that was my lip. I should have exfoliated my lips before I filmed, but I have not showered yet because it is wash day and I wanted to film before I washed. So I'm going to probably exfoliate my lips later. That is not the lips problem. That is a Brett problem, though you will be seeing me use this again, so we can definitely try that in the future. As for the blush, I think it's really pretty. I definitely think I could have gone a little heavier, so I think I'm going to do that right now and just add a tiny bit more. You guys know I do like a nice blush moment, and adding just a tiny bit more really ties that monochromatic vibe between the eyes and the lips and whatever's left on my brush right over the bridge of the nose. And as always, I do like to just pat out whatever I put on the cheeks, just so everything looks melted together. Now I will say this doesn't need the sponge to melt into the skin, but it will benefit from melting it into the bronzer and the highlight that I put on top of it. Those needed a little help melding together, but it definitely isn't sitting on top of my skin. It feels like it is part of my skin. Now for the eyeshadow, you guys know I notoriously do not like cream shadows, and this went on beautifully. On me, cream eyeshadows crease in literal minutes, and the fact that my eyes have been on, I made coffee, I have done a whole bunch, and I still like the way it looks is kind of telling, which means this might be a product that I can use as like both an eye base and a cream shadow that I can then layer powder shadows with, because the powder I put on top did go on really nicely, and I think as a whole, especially with my coloring, these tones worked beautifully. Let me know what you guys think down below. Personally, I am a huge fan of it and cannot wait to try more from the line. What do you guys think? Rare Beauty, yes or no? And more importantly, these products, yes or no? Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.